Lord Chancellor, Lord Wallace, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is Harvey Qureshi, and on behalf of the City UK Dispute Resolution and Legal Services Group, it's my pleasure to welcome our distinguished speakers and yourselves to this event where we will hear about the plan for growth for UK legal services. We're delighted to have the Lord Chancellor and Secretary of State for Justice, the Right Honourable Chris Grayling, to provide the keynote address. You ought to have in front of you the UK legal services on the international stage underpinning growth and stability document. There is also a report that's been produced by the City UK Legal Services Group as of March 2013, which provides a great deal of detail as to the continuing importance of UK legal services, both in terms of the provision of services and education and training the world over. Before our keynote address and speakers, I'd like to invite our hosts, as represented by David Morley, to provide some words of welcome.
Thank you, Chairman. And ladies and gentlemen, good evening, and indeed a very warm welcome from everyone at Allen & Overy to all of you here this evening. I'm really delighted that we're able to be hosting this event this evening on behalf of the City UK to highlight the importance of legal services to the UK economy. Naturally, as a law firm, this is a subject that's very close to our own hearts, of course, and we particularly welcome the support of government in promoting what has to be, on any measure, one of the UK's great success stories. And I know that the government actually has been very active in supporting this sector. I had the privilege about 18 months ago of accompanying the Prime Minister on a delegation to Moscow. And I don't know, those of you who've been to Moscow will know that when you arrive at the airport, typically it takes you between 2 and 2.5 hours to get from the airport into the centre of Moscow. The traffic is absolutely awful. But when you arrive with the Prime Minister on a special jet, and you're ushered off the special jet into a blacked-out minibus, surrounded by armed motorcycle escorts, and then you're whisked at a limit which is definitely in excess of the official limit, into the centre of Moscow, with every intersection closed, all the traffic held back, while you're rushed into the centre of Moscow within less than 20 minutes, and you sit in the back of that minivan and you think, I could definitely get used to this form of government support. But leaving all false modesty about the sector to one side, law, I think, is a sector where the UK truly does excel. We're world leaders in this sector. And what's more, I think, relative, when you look at the size of our economy compared to the global economy, we punch well above our weight in this sector. And you're going to hear lots of facts and figures and statistics tonight, but there's only one I'll give you that illustrates that point. 4 of the top 8 largest law firms in the world, measured by revenue, originate from the UK and are headquartered in the UK. And I know, because Allen & Overy and the offices you're sitting in, we're one of those. But if you consider that the US legal market by itself is bigger than the legal market for the whole of the rest of the world put together, it's really quite remarkable that UK law firms occupy such a strong position globally. I think it is fair to say that English law and English law firms, UK law firms, truly stand like a colossus on the global legal stage. We as a firm, and there are other firms that are similar to this, have 60% of our lawyers now outside of the UK. So firms like us have built global businesses, generating jobs and wealth for the UK by exporting our expertise, our skills and our know-how all around the world. This is a firm, and many of our competitors are the same. We regularly do business in over 100 countries all around the world. But there's absolutely no room for complacency in this sector as in any other. We operate in a very fast-changing, dynamic, highly competitive global market. We have very demanding clients, and we have a lot of extremely hungry competitors. To sustain the success that this sector has enjoyed on behalf of the UK, we absolutely have to continue to innovate and to adapt to changing market conditions and changing client demands. And above all, we have to effectively market our services. And that's why I'm particularly pleased to be hosting this event tonight. Banging the drum in this way sends a really clear message globally about the quality and the importance and the competence of the sector. And perhaps more importantly, it demonstrates to all of those who are involved in the sector that the contribution that's being made is valued and is recognised. And that, in turn, I think instills the confidence that the sector needs to continue to invest and to grow their businesses. And in today's world, what could be more important than that? So, ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome here tonight. I'm going to hand back to the Chairman for the main speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, David. It would be impossible not to mention the presence of Sir David Wootton, who, in his role as the Lord Mayor, was instrumental in promoting UK legal services in jurisdictions which have featured significantly, so far as dispute resolution is concerned, litigation and arbitration, not least Russia and the CIS. So, with that context, it's my pleasure to invite the Right Honourable Chris Grayling, Lord Chancellor and Secretary of State for Justice, to provide the keynote address. Lord Chancellor.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to speak at the launch of this new action plan. Thank you very much to Alan and Overy for hosting the event. Particular thanks to City UK for arranging the gathering. It is great to be in such esteemed company tonight, and I think actually the fact that you have Lord Wallace, Edward from UKTI, Maura from the Bar Council, Andrew from the Law Society, and Jerry from City UK, all on a roll call for this event, sends an important signal. And that is that when it comes to promoting the UK, promoting growth and promoting our lawyers, this is something we've got to do together. In 2011, the government published its strategy for growth. That set out something we've articulated very clearly from day one. We are determined, in the face of very difficult conditions worldwide, to reinvigorate and rebalance our economy. The City of London is known as a global capital of finance, but it is equally a world centre for legal services, and the two go hand in glove. Any plan to promote UK industry that ignored legal services would be like going to Wimbledon and missing the tennis. Because, let's not forget, it's a sector that contributes over £20 billion a year to the UK economy. £3.5 billion comes from exports, a figure which has shot up in the past decade. And what we hear about the footprint of just your firm, it's hugely impressive. It is a massive success story for this country and one we should be proud of. We are world leaders in legal services. 9 in every 10 of commercial arbitration cases handled by London firms now involve an international party. We're unrivaled in terms of size, quality, experience, flexibility, efficiency and value for money. People all over the world know that for dispute resolution you come to London. You come to Britain because it's cheaper. It costs 15% less here than the rest of Europe. You come to Britain because it's quicker. Disputes get resolved more rapidly here. Cases concluded in months, not years. And actually you come to Britain because the judgment of a British court comes with a cast-iron guarantee of impartiality, integrity and enforceability. And tradition as well. I've just been meeting Sir Robert Worcester talking about his plans for the 800th anniversary of Magna Carta. Our legal traditions go back a lot further than most around the world. And the truth is you come to Britain because it's just good business sense. Now, it would be folly to pretend that the legal sector, like all others, isn't facing a tough environment. We live in a changing world. There is stiff competition coming from the likes of New York, Dubai, Hong Kong. The old certainties, the old assurances are gone. And the old world leaders will go too, unless we can adapt and offer something to the emerging markets. Moving our way step by step into China, Brazil, Russia, India. And I know how much of a challenge that can represent, but we've still got to do everything we can to try to achieve that. And the renewed action plan we're launching today shows that we are determined to do just that. Now, before I go on to say what we've done since the first plan was launched back in 2011, I do want to pay tribute to the work of UKTI. It has been the tireless work of their commercial officers in posts from Moscow to Mumbai, promoting the UK legal services, that I think has helped us achieve much, much more in the last few years. So thank you. And from what I see in today's plan, you've got plenty of good work to keep up. So what's been going on since the launch of the first plan for growth? A remarkable amount, I think, in a short period of time. Ministers have been getting out and about, talking to counterparts in other countries, talking to other governments about opening up their markets to UK legal firms. India alone has a legal services market which, if we can get it to be liberalised, can be worth around £350 million a year for the UK. And we will continue to do everything we can to secure that. We need to carry on breaking down barriers, smashing bureaucracies, convincing those countries to open markets that could be so valuable to us. We're taking every opportunity we can to get the message out there about the UK legal sector and UK law. Ministerial visits, trade missions, and to extend the reach of our activities as far as possible, we've also developed an online promotional toolkit sent out to embassies across the globe. That explains the value of the UK legal sector and is being used as a central part of the promotion of UK trade in general. Now, of course, that's only one part of what's happening. Huge efforts being put in by law firms, by people in the City of London. It is really a team effort that we have to secure success for the UK around the world. 2011, we saw the first English Law Week in Russia. 250 senior Russian lawyers talking arbitration and transaction law. You know, not the stuff of the dog and duck, I grant you, but a great opportunity to network and tout the business. It's not just a one-off. It's happening again this year and every 2 years from now. And actually one of the things we've got to do, because this is an area to people in general might seem rather obscure and unimportant, we've really got to build the understanding that this marketplace and the skills of legal services in London are that great national success story. And we've got to make more and more people aware in this country and elsewhere about the potential that this industry offers for jobs and prosperity and to earn valuable income for this country. And I have to say that we've seen a great team effort between the legal community, the business community, the political world. The former Lord Mayor, I'm sorry to have missed the trip to Brazil. I was newly appointed. It was my first European Council meeting. I know that was a very valuable visit, taking that delegation to fly the flag for the city's professional services. As part of that, the Law Society could show off London as a world leader in dispute resolutions. And just this week, we saw the launch of an Anglo-Brazilian lawyers group, continuing to forge the links between the two countries. And important as they are, this isn't just about the BRICS. Last year, the Bar Council reached out to the Asian markets in Singapore and South Korea, countries now just opening up for business. And indeed, I was talking to the Law Society last week. We ought to be looking at countries like Myanmar, Burma, which will, I think, now emerge to become an intriguing economic success story in Southeast Asia as well. And there will be other opportunities like that around the world. And then there's unlocking disputes, a real group effort bringing together the MOJ, the UKTI, the Judiciary, the Law Society, the Bar Council and City UK to showcase London's expertise in alternative dispute resolution. It's a campaign that's been rolled out in 26 countries, an integral part of the Lord Mayor's promotional missions for the city, and it is targeting those big emerging markets, Brazil, Russia, China, Turkey, Mexico. And we're seeing the fruits already. 35,000 companies and individuals a year are discovering the benefits of our world-class arbitration and mediation system. We've done a lot already. The action plan we're launching today shows, though, that there is a great deal more work we can all carry on, we all need to carry on doing as partners in building this success story. It's natural for a country to promote its exports. You can't imagine the French keeping champagne secret, Germany keeping their cars a secret. So we've got to do everything we can to trumpet this success story around the world. But there's more to this than the legal sector's contribution to our economy. because to promote UK lawyers is also to promote UK laws. And that brings with it a recognition of something that everyone in this room knows: the rule of law matters. So when we fly the flag for UK legal services, we're supporting a system that lets economies, including our own, flourish. That's why legal services are so important to the work that we're doing and others are doing to promote UK PLC. It is why London is the venue of choice for more and more international commercial cases than any other city on earth. The inherent flexibility in our common law system means it is the perfect foundation on which to build trade and commerce. And the UK has sector-specific expertise too. So we'll be promoting this expertise alongside the promotion of UK goods and services in general. And I would see more and more senior figures from the legal world joining the international efforts that we make, led by the Prime Minister and other senior ministers, to win presence in that market. There's another part too. The UK also needs to be a centre for legal education and training, to have young lawyers from overseas coming here to learn their craft, a great way of building our success story internationally as well as they return to their own markets, sharing our values. Just like UK judgments, a UK law qualification is recognised and valued across the globe. We have around 20,000 international law students studying in the UK right now, 1 in 5 of all students around the world. There are over 1,500 courses on offer. And of course, these guys are the future of their country's systems, and therefore an education in UK law gets our system hardwired into theirs. For a world emerging blinking from a financial crisis, that has to be a good thing. What I should say is that this isn't just about London either, as great a hub as it is. The city's success is something that can be and is being shared across the UK. Regional law firms, especially those in the northwest, which contribute over £2 billion to the economy, are competing all the time with the international players in the city and elsewhere. And the expertise of, say, the energy law sector in Scotland complements that of dispute resolution in London. Wales has a growing reputation for legal education. So this is a UK effort, it's not just a city effort, even though the city remains of exceptional importance to this country. So I'm honoured to be launching today's new action plan. It is the start of the next chapter in an exciting story. There is a lot further to go, further in promoting industry, further in promoting growth, further in promoting jobs, and further in promoting our legal system and what it can offer to the world. We will carry on doing everything we can to make the case to open up new markets. We will bang the drum for the sector. We will do everything we can to get more business into London. We can make the right conditions, but government isn't alone able to sort out the growth opportunities. So we've got to work together, work with you to achieve success in a global race, and help all of you here tonight and your counterparts around the country step up, extend, build your world-class reputation. So I want to thank everyone who's been involved in putting the document together, the strategy together. It's not a lot more than a signpost for us all, because a bit of paper isn't going to solve the problem, but it gives us a next sense of direction, a next step that we need to take, working together. I want to help, in my time as Lord Chancellor, your industry, our industry, become even more of a global success than it is, and bring yet more prosperity to the City of London and the rest of the UK. Thank you.
Lord Chancellor, thank you very much for providing us with your perspective on the importance of UK legal services, and more important than that, continuing to emphasise the strong support our sector has from government. The importance of UK legal services overall is a matter that the Lord Chancellor has identified, and the UK has a specific expertise in Scotland in the energy sector. We're delighted to have with us the Right Honourable Lord Wallace of Tankeness, the Advocate General for Scotland, and I invite Lord Wallace to share his perspective on UK legal services, the plan for growth from Scotland. Thank you.
Lord Chancellor, Cawar, ladies and gentlemen, can I first of all join with the Lord Chancellor in thanking Alan and Overy and the City UK for hosting and laying on this important event this evening to launch this important document, the latest update of the action plan. As a lawyer and as the Scots Law Officer to the United Kingdom Government, I am particularly delighted to be a signatory to this renewed action plan and indeed to have the opportunity just to say a very few words this evening. I certainly echo what Chris Grayling has said about the importance of the legal sector to the United Kingdom economy, both directly and also in underpinning the growth in other sectors. Work, as you've heard, in the original plan for growth has shown the huge amount that can be achieved by government working together with the profession to promote UK legal services. I was very impressed by this work, and I was determined to ensure that the profession throughout the United Kingdom benefited from this vital cooperation between government and the profession, and indeed from the unique networks that the United Kingdom Government has access to. The different jurisdictions in the United Kingdom allow us as a country to offer the international market a vital variety and choice. In turn, each of these jurisdictions can benefit from the networks and influence of the United Kingdom Government, exemplified by the excellent work of UKTI, which has already been referred to. The Scots profession, like our counterparts in England and Wales and Northern Ireland, is well respected throughout the world for our long, proud tradition of fairness, for integrity, and for the experience in key sectors important to the modern world, from energy to financial services. Scots law firms are internationally competitive in many such sectors. My own professional body, the Faculty of Advocates, contains many capable of tackling the most complex international disputes. And in Edinburgh you will find them practising in a thoroughly modern commercial court, keen to resolve commercial disputes quickly and efficiently. Close at hand you will find the Scottish Arbitration Centre, which, together with the new Scottish arbitration laws, offers a genuine alternative to the City of London. And such healthy competition means that the international market need look no further than the UK for all its legal needs. This renewed plan, launched this evening, contains as a key objective the promotion of legal services offering for the whole of the United Kingdom. It's not just an aspiration. It is a reflection of what is now actually happening in practice. And I would want to take the opportunity this evening to thank the Law Society of Scotland, the Faculty of Advocates and the Scottish Arbitration Centre for working in cooperation with my office, with the Ministry of Justice, with UKTI to ensure that Scots profession becomes an integral part of the cooperation between government and the legal profession. And I just may take the opportunity to put in the plug, because we look forward to that cooperation in the coming 2 years to be able to support the Law Society of Scotland's recent bid to host the Commonwealth Law Conference in Glasgow in 2015, a bid that will bring lawyers from all over the world to Glasgow. Can I also thank the Legal Services and Dispute Resolution Group for welcoming my office to their group. And I welcome the publication of the City UK's very useful, very informative, fact-filled 2013 report on legal services. However, the objective mentioned is not the only objective which I would like to single out, because, as the Lord Chancellor has pointed out, the education sector is also of vital importance in the promotion of our legal services. The Scots education sector is world famous, and I particularly welcome the specific objective in this action plan in championing the legal education sector throughout the United Kingdom. And I particularly look forward to working with that sector in furthering that goal. In conclusion, I am delighted to have the opportunity to work more closely with my profession and with the professional organisations in Scotland and the Scottish Arbitration Centre, and to see them benefit from the valuable work of the Ministry of Justice, of UKTI, well supported indeed by the City UK. Next week I will host a launch of this action plan in Scotland at the invitation of the Scottish Arbitration Centre. It is a pleasure to be part of this fruitful cooperation between government and the industry in a sector which is very close to my heart. Any salesman will tell you that selling a product you believe in is so much easier. And I know that the United Kingdom Government firmly believes in the international reach and importance of the legal sector throughout the United Kingdom. Thank you very much.
As the Lord Chancellor pointed out, one of the important ways in which government support for the legal services is translated into action is through the UK TI. I call upon Edward Oakton, Managing Director of the UK TI, to share his insight. Thank you.
Well, good evening, Lord Chancellor, Lord Advocate, distinguished guests, and first of all, many thanks to Hawar and to Alan and Overy and to the City UK for organising this event this evening. And just a very few words, and first of all, to convey warm greetings from Stephen Green, whose signature appears on this document, but who is stuck at an airport and who asked me just to convey his warm greetings and to say one thing. This sector really matters to us, and it matters to us for two reasons. The first is that you just can't trade and you just can't invest unless you have got, as you all know as well as we do, a really firm and clear legal framework in which to do so. And sitting where I do, we see every day, just as you do, from the kind of opposite side of the table in many ways, the consequences when one doesn't have a clear legal framework, and conversely, the advantages when one does. The second reason why it really matters for us is because of its sheer size and importance to our economy. If one adds together both financial services and professional and business services, that's about a quarter of our exports. About half of those are professional business services, and if you subdivide, about a third of that is legal services. So it's really important that we give the proper and due promotion to a sector in which, as so many speakers have said this evening, we genuinely excel. And we are, in that context, both as the Foreign Office and as UK Trade and Investment, really delighted to support the launch of the second phase of this action plan and of the City UK's report. There are, I think, just three strands of it that I might quite just quickly bring out for you, if I may. The first is the development and deployment overseas of a really joined-up common script. And when you've seen it from the other side, I've sat in various embassies around the world, and you see different scripts coming from our different jurisdictions, it just doesn't have the same impact as if we can get them really coherent. So I think it's fantastic that we are now working more closely together. And we have about 100 UKTI offices around the world, representing some 98% of the world's GDP. And from each one of those now we can use this common script to promote the sector, which is a real step forward. The second strand to bring out is the really important role of legal services in, not just in and of themselves, but in, firstly, global supply chains, and secondly, in the through-life costs of major projects. I think one challenge for us as an economy is really to understand and then to take maximum advantage of something that's changing all the time at the moment, which is how global supply chains actually work. And for all the reasons that you know, I mean, you are a really globalised industry, and how we ensure that we maximise British involvement in a supply chain that may well be originated in Japan or Russia or Brazil, but has really important constituents, and constituents not just at one phase of a project, but in a through life of 15, 20 years, and that we maximise the pull-down value not just at the start of the project, but all through, and identify where those points are, will, I believe, significantly increase the 4 billion that is already earned from legal services around the world. Third point, education, and really to work hard to enhance the legal sector education. The arguments for giving people a really firmly British-based education apply just as strongly here as in so many other sectors around the world. We not only embed values in the leaders of the future, but also establish the sorts of relationships, again, on which we can draw, but also which will form the fundamental bases of the way in which foreign counterparts act economically and politically. Could I just, in closing, make a few words of tribute to all those who have been so central to the successful delivery of the first plan. Firstly, to the Ministry of Justice for their leadership across government in driving this forward. Secondly, to Sir David Wootton for his stewardship of the Unlocking Disputes campaign all around the world last year. And, of course, many thanks to the Bar Council of England and Wales, the Law Society of England and Wales, and the City UK Legal and Disputes Resolution Group. We look forward to welcoming you all from all the different jurisdictions as we take forward the second phase of this plan across the UK. Thank you very much.
We will next hear from the people who are actually responsible for delivering legal services, the professionals. We're delighted to have with us the chair of the Bar Council, Maura McGowan, Queen's Counsel, and the Deputy Vice President of the Law Society, Andrew Kaplan. Maura will provide the Bar Council perspective, then followed by Andrew Kaplan. And we will have some closing remarks from Jerry Grimstone, the chair of the City UK. Maura.
Lord Chancellor, Lord Advocate, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted on behalf of the Bar of England and Wales to welcome and to lend my profession's support to the Ministry of Justice's new action plan. There has been strong similarities in what has been said from the podium this evening. That is not a bad thing. Our legal services sector is something which we can and should share a collective pride in. This jurisdiction is hugely fortunate to be home to judges and practitioners whose qualities, excellence, integrity and incorruptibility are recognised and respected all over the world. We make a significant and growing contribution to the economy at a time when success stories are not always easy to find. That contribution should be encouraged and facilitated. But our role is not purely a financial one. We have also provided a benchmark for the adherence to and the promotion of the rule of law. We as a profession are marked by our steadfast commitment to access to justice, and not just for litigants with means, as is so often portrayed, but importantly for those with no means at all. We must be mindful of domestic challenges to access to justice, which might threaten the values for which our system is known internationally. It is those values for which we are so widely respected, as well as for our collective ability. I know from my experience representing the Bar internationally that much of the world looks to our system for indications of their own future. We must guard jealously the position which UK law and our own legal services sector assumes on the world stage. But it's not all good news. The challenges to our market position are frequent. The competition is strong. It is not going to go away. There is no room for complacency. We have to continue to play a relevant role. We have to continue to show that we are on the cutting edge and we can point to real, tangible progress. Day after day, I hear more stories of entrepreneurship at the Bar, as barristers seek new and innovative ways to deliver their high-quality, cost-effective services to a growing client base. I attended a reception at a very smart venue at the International Bar Association conference in Dublin last autumn. There was a real buzz in the room, and it wasn't just the Guinness. Guests remarked that it was one of the best receptions they'd been to that week. I was struck by just how vast the opportunities before us are. But what I was struck by most was this was not actually hosted by an international law firm, but by a set of chambers. Now, I say that notwithstanding the fact that Allen and Overy provided the most wonderful reception as well, and for which we're very grateful. But it is, I think, indicative to note that finally, perhaps some would say, the bar is stepping up to actually find its place in that international market. Our practitioners are spotting those opportunities and capitalising on them. The Rolls building, modern, impressive, business court complex. Clients who go there can expect expert representation of the very highest quality, provided at a competitive price, with the greatest concentration of judicial expertise anywhere in the world. The Unlocking Disputes campaign, bringing the whole profession together, has spread that message far and wide. The launch of the action plan this evening will further galvanise us to work together to encourage and support the growth of a sector which underpins the role of London as a global financial centre and the rule of law all over the world. It's a rare ability to work together and speak with one voice, one unified voice, which many other professions would envy. We must continue to use it, to develop and to grow. Thank you.
Thank you and good evening, everyone. I promise I'll be brief. I know I'm just about last. But firstly, on behalf of the Law Society of England and Wales, may I say how delighted we are to take part in this event on promoting UK legal services on the international stage. And on behalf of our side of the legal profession, we very much welcome the commitment of the government and the Lord Chancellor in championing our sector. Thank you very much indeed. The world is changing. Emerging markets continue to drive global recovery post-financial crisis. We as the solicitors profession recognise that as the global economy does recover, trade and investment are and will be central to regenerating strong, sustainable, balanced growth within the UK and overseas. And our members are already gearing up to take opportunities in these areas through developing wider networks and relationships with firms overseas, through internationalising their operations, and by taking the advantages and benefits of English law to assist their clients creatively, wherever and whoever they are. Indeed, our members, as always, work hand in hand with business, supporting key growth sectors such as energy, mining, minerals, infrastructure and creative industries, as they themselves seek to take advantage of the business opportunities around the world. And emerging markets are also increasingly trading and investing heavily in each other's markets via London for their legal advice. And by way of an aside, this trend is the topic of our International Marketplace Conference, which we're holding at the Law Society on the July the 9th this year, to which you are all invited. And just to finish, the business and legal worlds of England and Wales are uniquely open. The challenge is to ensure that they remain so, and certainly we at the Law Society will do all that we can in this respect. Thank you very much indeed.
No, I really am the last speaker, and I have an easy job, which is on behalf of all the guests here tonight to say thank you to our distinguished speakers, in particular, of course, to the Lord Chancellor and the Lord Advocate. The City UK, we're the leading cross-sectoral membership body for financial and related professional services, and it's very much part of our function to bring people together and organise events such as we have here this evening. I'm particularly pleased to be here because with people still so transfixed by the global financial crisis and its aftermath, it's very important to remind people constantly that the City isn't just bankers, It isn't just London, it's a powerful cluster of professions and trades. And I think it's that cluster operating around the world is one of the ingredients which makes us so successful. And legal services, and we're very pleased to publish our sort of research report today detailing this, really was a success story, a homegrown success story waiting to be heard. I think the legal services sector provided about £3.3 billion of exports to the UK from the UK last year, which is nearly 3 times the amount of a decade ago. So this isn't just a successful industry, it's a growing industry. And as we heard from the Lord Chancellor, as well as the exports, it brings British, UK's values and integrity right into the heart of nations around the world, which I think is an incredibly important aspect of it. I have to end by thanking Alan and Overy for hosting us this evening. Alan and Overy are a great assistance to us all in promoting legal services both in the UK and around the world. They very generously provided the Lord Mayor sitting in the first row over there, and David, it's a chance yet again just to thank you on behalf of the city for having been one of our most successful Lord Mayors in recent memory in promoting us. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you to our speakers, and please enjoy the reception outside before you go home. Thank you all very much.